Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. This picture was shared online of what I believe to be a new notification in the Tesla UI. It said a high chance of fogging, climate set to auto to ensure visibility. I've never seen that before, so seems like a cool new predictive feature, but the question here is, do you have your climate in your Tesla on auto most of the time, or do you like to micromanage and have it on manual? I wanted to share another quick spy shot of the Model Y. This one did not have that camouflage on the rear tail light where they have the opening for the camera. So for now, it still looks like the new Model Y will have that light bar that goes all the way across the back of the vehicle. And I know it's been a long time since we shared this leak that was over the summer, but here's the best look we've had so far. And again, the camera is expected to be a little bit higher this time rather than right above the license plate. For what it's worth, the word still is that Giga Shanghai is increasing production capacity of the new Model Y up to 2,400 units per day from the trial level of 200 units per day. As of late, I've been on the lookout for problem areas for FSD version 13, looking for clips and reports that share similar problems so it's not just a one-off. One of those seems to be taking left turns and then ending up in the wrong lane.
Here we go. So it turns green and it's making the turn, but it turns into the train lane, right? Is it called train lane? Yeah, it's just crazy. I got nowhere to go, and you can tell from behind. Trying to zoom, like the train's right here. The train's right here. I got nowhere to go, and it's red light. And at this moment, I just disengaged the autopilot. Don't know where to go. I think I have to run the red light to get out of it. So I'm just waiting for all these pedestrians, right? Waiting for all these pedestrians to get out, and I did that.
I understand that with how good version 13 is, a lot of people just want to let it go to see what it does or for the content, whatever reason. But it's still supervised for a reason, and the longer we let it do things like this without intervening right away so the vehicle knows that was actually the wrong maneuver, I think the longer it's going to take to solve this problem. But ideally, the supervisor in these scenarios would be taking over sooner so the car better knows exactly what it did wrong. If you let it go for seconds or minutes, I'm guessing there's a chance that won't be as efficient or effective when it comes to actually training the system for the future. In addition to those clips, I've seen many comments confirming a similar issue. Now yes, if cars or trains were in those oncoming lanes, I'm guessing that FSD would have behaved differently. But even if there aren't, when you have a robotaxi future, you don't want new customers trying out a cybercab for the first time to watch the vehicle drive into the wrong lane when they can't do anything. I found it interesting there were multiple big accounts on X trying to come up with theories about the Cybertruck attack or the situation, because who really knows what's actually going on with that whole thing. But these accounts thought you could effectively have a corpse in the driver's seat and FSD would just drive that body around wherever. So Elon stepped in and said autopilot will not function unless it detects an attentive person in the driver's seat. And many of you can attest, if you take your eyes off the road for too long to change the media or whatever, you'll begin getting warnings. Again, I think most of the details about this Cybertruck event are beyond the scope of this channel. We'll still continue to cover the ones that are relevant to Tesla. But I have to say, for the ones we won't cover here, the story seems to be getting weirder by the hour, and I'll be honest, not much of it is making any sense. As I've said, the story is still developing, but for now, police have said that Tesla confirmed the vehicle was not in FSD during any part of this incident, according to data pulled from the truck. Alright guys, so I have a quick confession to make. The other day I was dropping off the new Model 3 to get the windows tinted and my wife was following me to drive me back home. It was snowing like crazy, super windy, and I was trying to test my key cards for the Tesla to see which one it was because I have two, one for the Model Y and one for the new 3. To make a surprisingly long story short, I could not figure out which of the key cards was for the Model 3. So I ended up just giving the shop both. Well, TIL, today I learned that you can pair the same keycard with multiple Teslas, so you only need to carry one backup keycard if you have multiple vehicles in your household. And as David shared, even if one of those keycards is the metal one for the Cybertruck, you can pair that with non-Cybertruck vehicles as well. And Kristen asked if it could be purchased and used for just other Teslas and not the Cybertruck, and she said the answer is yes. However, unless you have somebody in your network that's willing to give one of theirs up, I'm not sure how you'd get your hands on one, because for me on the Tesla shop it says this accessory is not compatible with any of your vehicles. Meaning you can't buy it from the shop unless you have a Cybertruck. There was a post on X that said, breaking, Tesla now accepts Dogecoin for charging station payments, and it got plenty of traction. Naturally, no source was shared. I tried to find one, could not find anything, so as far as I can tell, this is not accurate. And sure, maybe this account is looking at source code and is seeing something coming around the corner, but it's not here yet. I did try in the app to add a new form of payment for charging, but Dogecoin is still not an option. We got the wholesale figure for Tesla China for December. It came in at 93,766. That was the highest wholesale number all year, but it was actually lower than December of 2023, which was 94,139. You can disregard these figures in orange because we don't have the final data point for December production, exports, and domestic. But with all of the wholesale data year over year, Giga Shanghai came in down 3.4%, or about 31,000 units compared to 2023. Despite the high number for December, quarter 4 still came in about 8,200 units lower than quarter 3. Joe Tetmeyer shared some video footage of the Boring Company Cyber Tunnel at Giga Texas testing out the new daytime running lights for the Cybertruck design. This will definitely look pretty cool at night. Then we had Gregor Truck sharing this photo. I'm not sure exactly where he got this from. Maybe he took a screenshot of one of Joe's videos and played with it a little bit, but either way, I thought it was a pretty cool picture I wanted to pass along. Ford released its United States sales data for quarter 4 and the full year. Ford's total US sales, all powertrain types, were 2.078 million for 2024, up 4.2% year over year. The good news is most of that growth came from its Electrified lineup. Its ICE vehicle sales were effectively flat year over year, up 0.2%. Ford's fully electric vehicles grew 34.8% year over year, coming in just south of 98,000 units. And Ford's hybrid lineup grew 40.1%, coming in over 187,000. And looking at individual vehicles, I'm just going to stick to the full year data. The Mach-E grew 26.9%. and sold over 51,700 vehicles for the year, which, yes, makes it the second best-selling fully electric SUV in the United States for the year behind the Model Y, but is still only doing about 4,300 units per month. The F-150 Lightning sales grew 38.7% and came in over 33,500 units. And their E-Transit van grew 64.4%, coming in at 12,600 units. And yes, Ford did have its best quarter ever in quarter 4 for full EV sales, but they're still only doing about 10,000 full EV sales per month. Then looking at GM's US sales for the year, GM expanded overall sales by 4% to 2.7 million, their highest total since 2019. Then looking at GM's fully electric models, the Lyriq grew 210% year over year, doing 28,400 units for 2024. The Blazer EV is quickly catching up as it's already done 23,100 sales. The Equinox EV is already higher than both, doing 28,800. The Silverado EV did 7,400 for the year. The Hummer EV did 13,900, and the Sierra EV came in just over 1,700 for the year. And as Sawyer shared for US EV sales for the year, Tesla came in 618,000, GM 114,000, and then Ford 98,000. And then a few other notes on auto sales. So BYD's numbers came in for 2024. Their fully electric sales were 1.76 million. And as we said yesterday, Tesla's number for 2024 was 1.789 million. So yes, Tesla still has the fully electric sales crown globally. But as I like to say, I think it's a silly comparison because Tesla has far fewer models at higher price points and Tesla is selling globally. BYD, on the other hand, still has 90% plus of its sales coming in the Chinese market. Rivian released its Q4 data. Production came in 12,727, beating expectations, and deliveries came in at 14,183, also beating expectations. But for 2024, production was down compared to 2023, mainly because of the retooling throughout Q2 at the Normal facility in Illinois, and deliveries were up for 2024, but by less than 2,000 units compared to 2023. We haven't looked at this table in a while, so here are Rivian's quarterly deliveries in blue, and then we have the production as the black line. Then this light blue straight line is just the trend line for deliveries. People always ask if Rivian will survive, and I really say it's too early to tell. I look at Rivian's sales now kind of like Tesla's Model S and X. The real question is how it handles the R2 rollout, just like Tesla did with the Model 3. We should remember how hard it was for Tesla to become a mass market manufacturer, and Rivian will face similar challenges. However, with the backing of VW and Amazon, and the fact that they're doing things the right way, trying to do their own software, building their own motors, learning as much as they can from Tesla, focusing on software, and they have products that customers really love. Now they just need to continually bring down the price points. And hopefully in 2025, we get a cleaner chart without this production drop from the factory retooling, as Rivian is not expected to launch the R2 lineup until the first half of 2026. Rivian will announce its Q4 financials after market close on February 20th, and remember, all year they've been saying that this is the quarter they generate a gross profit. And just a few notes, Toyota said its US sales of electrified models, almost all of them hybrids, topped 1 million for the first time, up 53%. Also in the US, Jeep and Ram continued to lose ground, with volume down 9% at Jeep and 4% at Ram. Sales have now dropped 6 consecutive years at Jeep and 3 straight years at Ram. But from an electric standpoint for Stellantis, they have 2 big releases set for 2025, the Dodge Charger Daytona and the Jeep Wagoneer S. Prospective Hyundai and Kia EV buyers have a reason to celebrate, even if it's short-lived, but officially on the website, the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 9, and Kia's EV6 and EV9 are all eligible for the full tax credit. Responding to Alexandra's survey that we talked about in yesterday's episode, Elon did respond to this saying, okay. What is Elon saying okay to? Well, you could say it's anybody's guess, but just reading what we have. Again, Alexandra said shareholders are asking Tesla's board of directors to consider legal action against news outlets that report inaccurately on Tesla. So if I had to say, I think this is Elon agreeing to tell the board to consider potentially going after these news outlets. And listen, as we all know, Elon is the board. Tesla's board of directors has zero independence. Seriously though, from Elon's public interactions, it seems like he's also at the point where he's ready to maybe go after some of these media outlets, so we'll see how it goes. And responding to the news about ARK Invest and some other shareholders appealing Judge McCormick's decision, Elon said, awesome. The original lawsuit was brought by a law firm using a puppet shareholder. The appeal is by real Tesla shareholders. And a quick heads up, it looks like with the new year, everyone's referral links have been reset, so if you maxed it out, yours should be live again. So in the event you're looking for one, I'll have mine in the description below once again, and as always, thank you for considering using my link. If early trading is any indication, buckle up for Tesla stock in 2025. It closed the day at $410.44, up 8.22%. The Nasdaq was up 1.77%. And with Rivian's beat of expectations, it was up 24.45%. Tesla's volume for the day was 11% higher than the average. Hope you all have a wonderful and a safe weekend. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X linked below. And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.